everyone, before we start the episode off, if you wanted to check out our audio-only episodes, you can go to Spotify and iTunes or wherever else you listen to podcasts. Also, if you go to iTunes, if you could leave us a 5-star review, that would be dope, and it really does help out. And if you want to support us on Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/volume1pod.
Yeah, and I do want to say
and
real quick, too.
Has
been eaten out. Hello and welcome to another episode of Volume 1, the anime and manga podcast where we review the first volume of a brand new manga each week. My name is Josh Soul Michaels, and today, as always, I am joined by my Meisters.
I was going to say Megan the Meister Brain.
I was setting you up. I'm sorry.
You took 2 nicknames.
I called you guys the Meisters.
What's yours?
Cody Blackstar Decker.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that works.
But what's your name?
Megan Meister Preen.
Okay.
She's sticking with it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Volume 1. Today, if you haven't guessed already, we are going to be discussing and reviewing Volume 1 of Soul Eater by, of course, Atsushi Okubo. I had to make sure I got his name right. Look, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at Soul Eater in today's episode, and then either on Saturday or next week, depending on when these episodes come out, we're going to be discussing his later work, Fire Force, kind of comparing and just talking about the growth and the differences between the two series, maybe the possible connections between the two of them as well. But this is a series, and I have the synopsis if you don't know anything about this series, but this is a series that is very nostalgic for me.
Oh yeah, this was one of the first animes I'd ever watched, and I was obsessed.
While I was reading this, I was like, "This is for sure people's childhoods." I've never watched any of this, but I could tell this was this is the anime Invader Zim.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I remember exactly where I was when I saw this anime, and it was a dark place, but this series shown some
you
light.
had your lights off in there.
It was a dark place.
Yeah.
It was so dark in there.
Yeah, let's go with that, Cody. Let's go with that.
I'd rather go with that.
Yeah. But I think this is a series that I also was curious to see if A, it held up, or B, how it held up, because even though I had seen the anime, I had never read the manga.
Same.
And so I did hear that they kind of Full Metal Alchemist the anime adaptation. At the end, it had the same ending, but they changed some things. So I know that is something that has bothered a lot of people, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to discuss Volume 1. And I'm curious, too, because, Cody, I don't think you had ever seen it or read it, ever?
No, I've heard you mention it offhand a couple times. I have no idea what it was about. But yeah, I was I didn't know this had an anime, but I was reading it okay, this is for sure a nostalgia thing for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It was drawn in nostalgia style.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I had never seen the art style previously to at all. I hadn't seen the manga at all, so I was like, oh, okay, this is definitely different, but definitely feels a little older.
It represents an era, a specific era of anime and manga.
I immediately liked the art style, especially with how they do the moon and stuff.
Yes.
And then I was happy that they explained why it's called Soul Eater right off the bat.
Page 1.
Which that's, that we don't talk about that much, but there is I have an issue of something's called the Dark Shadow, and then it's just
just say Bleach, dude.
If it's called Bleach. And it's why is it called Bleach? And the answer is whatever.
Dorohedoro.
Why is it called that? If any series explains to me why it's called that, I'm like, all right, cool. You get a point. So this started off with 2 solid points, and then it immediately dropped off.
Oh my god, I knew that was coming. I knew it was coming.
Honestly, I'm gonna be real right now.
Yeah.
I was a little I was a little taken back.
Yeah.
I was like,
there's a lot of taken back moments in this.
Yeah.
No, I was like, oh my god, because obviously I remember the anime, and I remember being etchy.
Right.
But this went a whole different direction.
I don't remember this much fan service.
No. And I remember some parts. It's just whatever. Haha, Soul, Maka, Blair. Of course, you can't forget Blair.
I thought sort of all the fan service came from Blair in my memory.
Yeah,
but it's everybody.
No, yeah, it's everyone.
No one's free of the service.
No.
Reading this, it was this was probably very important for a lot of people who just hit puberty.
Yeah, and you have
and
to
I don't
think,
I
dude.
don't mean that as a joke. Like this seemed like, oh, this is why it feels like relevant to people's like childhoods and adolescence, because this probably like maybe jump started your exchange from like, oh, cartoons to
Boobies.
Yeah, this is the manga that Southern mom read, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and was like,
this
what is this
is-
my kid is reading?
What the hell? There's a cat lady that got her titties hanging out.
Yeah.
She's a wish, but I don't know.
Yeah. And I don't want to
and it's-
compare this too much to Fire Force either, because we got a whole nother episode dedicated to
Yeah.
that. But the fan service doesn't really go away.
Yeah, no, I was
he-
shook.
Yeah.
yeah, it was like annoying because I didn't even. The only thing that I got it for being like relevant is like reading it, being like, I guess like, yeah, kids would be reading this and be like, oh, now I know what I'm into.
Yeah, and we've had long discussions about fan service and whether, what makes fan service palatable, when it's too much, when it's enough to not be distracted. But this is not trying to hide the fact that it's fan service at all.
No.
Where I'm at now is you're allowed like one obligatory scene with the understanding that maybe you had to do that to get it published.
Right.
But this was not obligatory.
Yeah, my mind goes to Miruko, definitely, because it was in the beginning and then it kind of went away. This is here to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a part of the way this works.
I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, I could totally see where they took, like, liberties in the anime to, like, kind of not do that, which I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Yay. Like, they do have that. They do have those moments, not necessarily Fire Force forceful.
Yeah.
I don't know where. Yeah, but you get me. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Tsubaki, what the I've never
Yeah.
seen Tsubaki like this. Why are they doing my girl Tsubaki like this?
Yeah.
Also, I did not like the first character I saw, or two of. I don't like any of the characters I saw actually. But like Megan,
that's interesting,
Megan
yeah.
showed me the way their voices are. I'm like, that's exactly what I thought they sounded like. Where I was reading like, this seems like it's that Asta from Black Clover, the way he talks. And she showed me the clip. I'm like, yep, it is this
It's
kind of.
just Black Star.
And it is like,
See-
yeah, for sure. If you were a kid, this would have been great.
That's the thing.
Uh-huh.
She consumed
I wouldn't
Black
have
Star.
liked that when I was a kid, though. But like,
I didn't even really know that it was a character type. I associate that kind of like Black Star was kind of the OG Asta for me before there was an Asta. I had nothing to compare him to. So
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, he's a cool kind of interesting character I've never
Yeah.
seen before. Cut to years later where, he's the blueprint for a lot of protagonists.
It was like so like I had no idea because I was just dipping my feet into anime at the time. Like this came out 2008, 2009. Like it was totally like Chef's Kiss era to anime. Honestly, it's my fucking favorite. But I had nothing to compare him to. I was like, oh, this is Black Star. He talks like this, and I watched the dub. I didn't watch the sub. I don't know if he does it like that, but I was like, this is peak for me.
Yeah.
This character I believe, and he's yelling, and I don't care because I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know,
I do
fucking
reading this, I was like,
12.
this was never for me. At no point in my life would I have been like, yeah.
Not even as a kid, and I believe that.
Yeah,
I believe
mean,
that.
my opinions are almost exactly the same.
Yeah. I do have to say though that for me as a kid, like I really did like these characters, and there's still one character I really do to this day connect with heavy.
Oh, there's one character I like in this.
Yeah,
I think I know who it is.
and it's probably the same for at least me and you. But we'll get to that. This manga volume 1 was
course.
interesting because it did cover the first 3 chapters were a prologue, and it did cover each chapter was dedicated to a different group of characters. And, I like that in theory. And in this, I didn't mind it so much because these were characters that I was refamiliarizing myself with. I wasn't a first-time reader, so I know it was probably different for you, Cody.
I had to ask you if I was reading the right thing, because I'm like, does this really how the story structure works here? Because I thought like, oh, is this like a montage of all like a bunch of one-shots he did?
Yeah.
And I didn't like any of the intros, and there's like okay, so there's like one actual chapter in this volume that's the story, and I didn't like that either. Yeah. I love the art style. I would pause and read the art style, like that's really fun and creative, and that is for sure something that I could see people having on their backpacks.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, it felt like if you were rocking sort of like Nightmare Before Christmas stuff or Beetlejuice stuff, like you were all about Soul
This is
Eater.
this is
Soul
anime.
Eater.
What is it? Emo or it's not goth. It's anime. What is Invader's name? Is Invader's scene?
Maybe scene.
This is anime. This is anime scene.
This is every scene kid's favorite anime.
Oh, I love it so much. And
Yeah.
I was like watching and reading at the same time, and they did change a lot of things, but This has such a special place in my heart, and it's
It
so
always will.
cringy, but I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I love it so much. And from reading the manga, like if I read the manga, I don't know how much of a fan I would have been if I didn't watch the anime, because the anime is just fucking amazing. Like a Studio Bones, amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I
and
can't.
it's just like you said, it's a perfect time capsule of that period of anime. Like it felt like it just, you can tell where it's from, but it just kind of warms your heart seeing it after years of not having seen it.
Yeah, this is I've never been like into nostalgia. Like there have been like multiple times where I was like, oh, I used to love this game. I played it like over 10 times. I loved it so much. And I played it again recently. And I was like, oh, this game sucks. And I immediately dropped it after like an hour.
Yeah.
Like the idea of like, oh, I used to like this, that never really like will hold on for me.
Yeah. Well, I do want to kind of get into it because I want to see how it held up for us and how your first time experiencing it was. But if you don't know, then you're about to know. Soul Eater is about a group of students who attend a school for aspiring demon hunters. The story follows Maka, a scythe wielder, and her partner Soul, who transforms into the scythe she uses. Each hunter is paired with a partner who can turn into a weapon, and the two must fight in unison.
Yeah. And it gets points where he eats a soul, and people go, "Oh, thank you, Soul Eater." I'm like, "All right, cool. All right." Like this started on a very high note, which shows, like, I mean,
and the world too, off the bat, like you said, seeing that sun and that moon and that world, and everything's kind of wacky, but everything. I really to this day love how creative the world is.
Art style, great, and like the world and the way the things work. I'm like, that's all well done.
Halloweeny.
Very Halloweeny, and I love too how they were taking these themes for the first time. You got to remember, I was young when I first saw this. That they were taking these themes like death and scythes and darkness, and they were making them kind of wacky, almost like a Billy and Mandy type.
Oh
of,
yeah, I mean the Grim Reaper.
thing.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like he's one of my favorite characters. He's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And I'm reading it, and I can just hear all of their voices, and I just felt so safe and warm. And then it just got like,
yeah, it gets crazy.
Yeah.
And see, that's the thing too, Cody. And I know we're not here to talk about the anime, but specifically like what happens after Volume 1. But it gets crazy
in the anime.
I mean, in the story, yeah. I'm assuming in the manga too, but
the
the
story.
fan service gets crazy.
Oh,
well,
no.
the story gets crazy.
Yeah, there's so much less of that in the anime.
Well, yeah, there's a little bit less of that too.
That's what this made me start thinking. Like there, people say like, oh well, it has to do fan service. You have to like add at least one fan service in your first volume, or it won't get picked up. And is that like when animes come out, they usually like lessen that? So is that like, look, we got picked up, we don't.
Well, unless they're like this
unless
is
it's
pivotal
like
to the plot.
Unless the guy was like,
it's
no,
the plot.
I wanted that to happen.
Yeah, and I need it in there.
I mean, sometimes it is. They do have to make it important for the story. Like there's gonna have to be some pretty heavy Denji power moments in the Chainsaw Man anime.
Yeah, but that's
what I mean?
platonic.
Yeah, it's a little different,
And
but it's like baked into. It's an important part of the story.
Yeah.
That's the thing is, it's like it also like explores that and how the character feels about it. So it's like relevant to like his growth and story. And this was like, what if you just saw her underwear?
Yeah, and I'm gonna save it for the Fire Force episode because there's a character that like it's like almost as if the mangaka like heard this backlash and was like, okay, well I'm gonna create a character that is just like it's just for all of it.
Aww.
And that's her like power is that she's this fan service character.
It pains me.
But anyway, so
me.
yeah, we meet our two main characters, Maka and Soul. In the first chapter, we meet them. In the second chapter, we meet Tsubaki and Black Star, and then we meet Kid Death and his
Soul's whole thing about
guns.
wanting to be cool. I was like, man, you're gonna have to make some moves for that to be charming, because that wore off on me really quick.
Yeah, and again, I don't mean to keep saying it's like of the time, but it does just feel like it was cashing in. I feel like on and this is not a dig. I mean, I love this series, but it was cashing in on a lot of like I felt like there was these archetypes, these tropes that these characters around this time just kind of had, and now like I feel like I don't know if it's because like I've gotten older, so my tastes have changed, and these other stories still exist, but it feels like manga has started to like break away from just like these archetypes, I guess. And whereas before, like the character who needed to be cool and the character who needed to be like Black Star, who needed to like be loud and have all this attention, like these seemed very archetypal.
That's the thing is
kind of like not interesting.
If
I
it's a
guess.
product of its time, there was stuff written in that time that wasn't like that. So
Yeah, because I was thinking, as soon as I said that, I thought about like how Berserker was written way before that.
yeah, so
Totally different.
It's not,
Totally
No,
different.
it's
stories.
like trending for the time, but it's not like
That's
oh
what
well,
I
you
mean.
had to be that of the time.
That's a better way to say
For
that.
sure, this was written to be popular for that time.
Yeah.
Well, I just like, I mean, of course it's archetypes, and like you watch anime, and sometimes I'm not mad at them. I'm like, oh, this is funny because this is the character, and I know this is their motivations, and this is who they're gonna be. I'm not necessarily always looking for a character to have so much depth and so, like this is the prime example of that. Like they're just like stupid kids. Like
Yeah.
they're all
Which
stupid
makes
kids.
the fan service part all the weirder.
All the weirder. All the weirder.
Sure. Yeah.
But totally, it's like these are just kids. Like, what was your main motivation when you were like 12? I need to be cool. I need to be the cool.
my parents to get back together.
Okay.
Same, dude. I was like, how can I parent trap my parents?
I don't have a twin.
I don't have a twin.
I don't have a twin. It's
Me
not
and my
looking
brother
good
look
for
nothing
me.
alike. Yeah.
First, you got to get them back together to have a kid that'll look like you.
Both
and
my
then
parents-
You can parent trap.
Yeah.
They're not rich.
It was the
Both
long
of them are
con
not
for me,
rich.
Yeah. But yeah, you know what? Too. Also, I think that it's hard when you're being introduced to these characters and you haven't, you know, in volume 1 specifically, like you don't get a lot of time because each chapter's split up with different characters. You don't get a lot of time with one group to allow them to grow on you. And like as the series continues, I do think Soul grows on you and Maka grows on you. But they really don't get that opportunity in volume 1 because of how the chapters are split up.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, like me and Josh say, we know these characters. Like
Yeah.
we've seen them grow, and we know what they're capable of. But in the first couple, chapters and stuff, you're like, oh, okay, this is cool, and then it moves, and you're like, okay, this is cool, which I didn't have a problem with because I like seeing characters do their
Yeah.
own thing and then come together and then you see like, oh, they're like a unit now,
And-
like, oh, this is fun.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, like that, like, because there's only one like real chapter where they're all together. So it's like each character got their own chapter to like way establish who they are and to like get me to like each character individually before they meet up. So like it should have been able to do that because like it had an advantage over other stories.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, 3 chapters that are all like prologues. So prologues don't really count when you like consider the story. So with that, I was still like, oh, they're all teamed up. I don't like these guys. Like each character got their own chapter to get me to like them.
Yeah. And I do have to say that like
So sweet.
I get where you're coming from. Like, I mean, like Megan said, these are characters that I will always have a special place in my heart for. But upon revisiting, I remember loving Black Star. I remember.
I bet you did.
I never was the biggest Black Star fan. I just thought he was funny.
That's because you are Black Star.
Yeah, you're the Black Star of this group. Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
And Cody's, you know, as much as I want to be Kid Death, I think maybe Cody is.
Yeah.
Wait, is that because he has glasses?
No, he doesn't have glasses.
Oh, then cool.
But and I would, you know, I don't even know if
Kid
I'm really
Death
a soul.
would have been
but
my goth name.
Kid.
I'm surprised it wasn't.
Death the Kid. Oh my god.
But
Kid
you know,
Deck.
when I Kid
Oh,
Deck, when I went back and rediscovered Black Star and was like reading him in the manga, I was like, he's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
And I know he always
Yeah.
was.
He
to a lot
was.
of
That's
people,
his point.
But I mean, I feel like he was just a little more annoying than I remembered him being.
Yeah.
Well, that's because you were like him. So you were like,
No.
you were like, oh, this
Oh,
guy,
okay. Yeah.
this kid is cool.
I don't want to say. Yeah. I was like, no, Josh, you're not. But you literally both just said I'm the fucking Black Star of the group, so I'm not.
You have a
even-
lot of energy.
And
And I'm also a Deathly Assassin, so watch out.
Yeah, and you're a star.
Ah,
sorry. Yeah.
So stupid.
But yeah, I mean, so I'm assuming he's the character that you liked the least. If you
is
had
he
to-
the Asta?
the blue hair,
The blue
Asta
hair
La
assassin,
Vista,
yeah.
we've made
Yeah,
this joke.
yeah.
yeah.
the character.
Yeah, I could hear his voice. And
I showed him.
Yeah, and I was like,
Yeah.
Megan showed me those. Like, well, yeah, it's exactly what I thought.
Yeah, and I didn't. I said character tropes that aren't interesting earlier, and interesting isn't the right word I meant. I meant it just felt like it was, you know, a retread of character tropes that have worked before, and this was just like it felt like an easier sort of way to like give a character a trait that with. And again, I'm not talking shit on this series. It's like it almost felt like they were giving him this trait in exchange for like giving him depth. Is that like I don't know? And it sounds like I'm.
That's the classic way of the anime.
Yeah,
You
but
know, of the usual anime where it's
Well-
like, well, He'll get moments in like volume 7.
But that's what I mean. I know Black Star gets those moments.
Yeah.
I know he gets depth,
and
but it's like it comes way later.
well, they did it with Soul, and it's like the whole
Eater?
thing. And they did it with Soul Eater when you think he's gonna say, oh, I'm only here for the tits, but it's like deeper than that. Black Star was like, I'm the best, but then he can actually also be good. And then you see it with Death the Kid in his little arc. It's symmetry. Like I'm only focused on symmetry, and then when that's disturbed, he's
Which-
like, oh, I'm gonna bust out my moves now. Like they all kind of got
Symmetry
that.
Used to be a thing with me.
Me too.
Yeah,
100%.
Like I remember I like had a toy and I like found out it wasn't symmetrical and I was like crying like I can't play with this anymore.
Same. I used to if I used to scratch one side of my face, I used to always have to scratch the other side of my face. Yeah, not at the same time. That's kind of cute, but not like that.
Hey guys.
Maybe people would have fucking liked me if I did that.
No, they
you're
would have
right.
hated you. They would
Lots
have
of other
hated
things.
you more if you did that.
100%. Look at that fucking
You start going
itchy
Daisuke.
kid.
Daisuke.
Yeah. But yeah, I used to have a real thing with symmetry, and that's why like Kid Death or Death the Kid, I
It's
connected.
Kid Death.
I think it's both. I think
Yeah, he does say they call him Death the Kid in the anime.
Yeah.
Kid Death.
So is
Death
Kid
the
Death his name and his nickname is Death the Kid?
I mean, I just remember it being like in the manga different than I remembered it in my head.
It's like Billy the Kid, Kid the Billy.
yeah, you know how those
Well, yeah.
names get mixed up all the time.
Yeah,
Wait, so it's Kid Death, right?
Or Death the Kid. I mean,
If it's
it's both.
Yeah.
Death the Kid, it's supposed to be like Billy the Kid, and his name is Death.
well, he's
Because
just
Billy
Death's
was Billy the
son.
Kid's
He's
name.
just-
He just looked like a kid, and the rumor is it was actually a woman because women would just pass as a. They would just say they're like, "Oh, I'm a teenage boy,"
Oh, like a Western Mulan.
or like Billy the Kid.
Yeah, or,
okay.
or like that. Yeah.
All right.
I guess it's both because he is Death's son.
He's called both, and in my memory, in the,
Oh, like Death. So he's Death's kid,
yeah,
and he's Kid Death, and he's Kid the Death.
Now you're getting it.
Now
Now
you're
you're
But okay,
getting
but
it.
Kid the Death
No,
still
Death-
is the only
Death
one that doesn't
the
make
Kid.
Death the Kid. That doesn't make sense.
Kid the Death.
okay.
Kid Death makes sense if you're Death's kid, but
He is
Death,
Death's
kid. He is
Death
Death's
the
kid.
kid doesn't make sense if you're Death's kid, unless it's Death. And it unless his dad is Death.
I just wanna. I don't have the energy.
Hold on. It's Death the parent, and then he is Death the kid.
Sure.
But Death's not the parent. He's just Death.
Okay, so that doesn't make any. Is that or is that like it's like if your first name is this, but your son is Junior?
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
stick with that one.
I wanted to say I wanted to add just like
Stick with
math
that one.
all over.
Yeah.
In the background when Cody's thinking of all that. But yeah, he's a character that I connected with back then and all over again. Like I love, and I know I said that earlier about Black Star having a quirk or a quirky personality in lieu of depth. But I mean, that's kind of what Kid Death has in his, symmetry with his symmetry. But I mean, I connect with that. And so I love that about him. And the fact that it is such a thing that he lives by where he'll like leave.
Yeah. He's so funny. And like, of course, like the person that's like obsessed with symmetry gets partners that like are related, but don't look
And
anything
twins,
alike.
yeah.
And twins. And
Yeah.
he's like, oh, yeah, great. He's probably like saw it on paper, like twin gun girls. Okay, great. This is going to be great. They're
Yeah.
twins. They're going to be perfect. They're identical. And then they show up and he's like, what the fuck?
You never had a thing with symmetry?
Not really. I mean, I do enjoy it, but I wasn't like obsessed like you
never
fuckers.
I was
cried if you
obsessed.
didn't get it.
No, I'm not that on that level.
I didn't know. I don't think I ever cried. I just kept it to myself, but I was crying. On
Oh
that.
yeah, I would be like, I can't. I remember it was a Gundam because it was the one that had turrets on
Yeah.
on half a side. I'm like,
Oh.
I was like, no, no, it's not. We have to fix this. There's something we can do. I can't touch this.
Yeah.
You know what I did deal with though?
What?
Eating souls.
I
Oh.
believe that. I believe that. Yeah.
Yeah.
When did that start for you?
As far as I can remember, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah. So what character is your favorite in this like group that we've met so far?
It's
'Cause
hard to say.
Are you saying that Kid Death is yours?
Oh no, it's the demon
The Death or
Shigimi Sama.
oh yeah, Shinigami. The
Yeah, that's my
yeah,
favorite character.
Death.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
Yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
so funny, and in the anime, like his voice is so perfect.
He's so funny.
He's just like, oh, everybody,
Yeah.
he's like the best, and he intros the anime, and he's like, let's get started. He's so
Yeah.
funny. And then I don't know, probably Maka. I fucking love Maka so much.
Yeah.
She's probably one of the characters that gets the most depth in the whole fucking show.
For sure. I mean, especially with her and her mom and her dad and like
Yeah, and it's so real. She's just like my dad, I don't want to talk to him because he's a fucking sleazebag. Like, she has the realest reason for, like, being, like, a jerk and being particular. Like, she's so hilarious. She's so funny. Like, I just love her so much. She's very relatable to me.
And so, like, real quick, because, I mean, there's no point in really, like, lingering in any of these stories in particular, but we meet Maka Soul, and they have their interaction where they just kind of learn about, like, the numbers. Like, in order to be a weapon for death or death's scythe, you need 99 human souls and 1 witch soul. And
yeah, I got 99 souls, but a witch ain't one.
That's the name. I mean,
that's
beautiful.
Yeah.
That's been made before.
I feel like that. I feel like I've seen that on like a t-shirt.
What a way to respond. If it's not,
that would be so
okay. What if Jeff? If fucking what's his name?
If that hasn't been done before,
John Hamm?
and your response to a
John
joke,
Hamm?
I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, no one knows about that. That's a weird thing to just say. People listening are like, "What are they talking about?"
Sorry. It's an inside joke. Subscribe to the Patreon if you want to listen to that little tidbit.
But yeah, dude. I mean, it's also weird that if you eat, because they had 99 human souls,
they were on top of it,
and they were about to get a witch one, but they accidentally ate a
Which
soul
one?
that. This one. That's another callback to the Witch Hat Atler episode.
Atler.
Which is starting to get more common. So
yeah, I love that.
That might be a slow burn.
Yeah, and we might have to go back to it.
But you see Maka and Soul and all the other Meisters that we see are kind of like all over the place. They're not very in unison. They kind of do like Blackstar kind of does his own thing with Tsubaki. You see Death the Kid, he's kind of like ditching them to go do other shit. But like Soul and Maka are definitely more in sync than any of the other characters.
I just mean that it's kind of fucked up that they have to kind of restart.
Oh yeah,
because they had 100. I mean, that just because the witch wasn't an actual witch. They're like, oh, you got to start from 0 again?
Yeah, you have to do it exactly that way, or you failed that round.
And that's why I never really believed, because we're introduced to Black Star, and I forget her name, Tsubaki. Yeah, Tsubaki, of course. And she's like, they have 0 because Black Star sucks. So it's like, but then they're put in the same sort of category of failure when like
as someone who like they almost did it. They were right there. Yeah. They just like, oh, oops.
Yeah, and
as opposed to someone who got nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I never really felt like they were equal at all. No,
I think it's just for like teach them hard, teach them hard, and they'll learn better.
Teach them hard and they'll learn good.
Teach them hard and they'll look good. There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't. But they're so cute, and I it's so funny to see her relationship with her dad unfold throughout the series, and he's a really funny character as well.
Yeah, which he makes a little cameo in Fire Force. Just
Josh. Is Maka's dad Josh?
Oh, definitely. It's a
I was just asking.
Definitely a good cosplay for you.
An alternate version reality.
People usually have kids by your age. Oh.
If I would have kept wandering down a specific path, that would have been me.
Hey, same dude.
Yeah.
Look at us now, baby.
Crushing it. After having our souls crushed. But anyway. And eaten. But yeah.
Hey, there we go.
Now we're back on track. Now we're back.
Hey, what'd you say?
And having them eaten as well. Our souls. But yeah, so
you'll find out when you're older.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's and also one of my favorite characters too. I really like him a lot. He's so funny. He's sleazy and pervy, but he's hilarious.
Very Tamaki-esque with like Haruhi, even though they're like not related, but he's just like, oh my, he's like doting father, and she's just like, I fucking hate you.
And it's not a witch that they end up getting. It's a cat.
It's a cat.
Yeah. Which were you reading that and you were like, oh, they're gonna get the witch. It's gonna be cool. And I liked how they had to go multiple times. They didn't just get on the first try. They had to go multiple times. She just kept getting the best of them. They're like, God damn it, this witch is hard to get.
And interesting enough, that the cat character in Soul Eater is the source of the fan service, as well as in Fire Force. It's also a cat.
It's also a cat.
And so is every other character in this.
I guess, yeah. So, but just let me have that.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Blair. That was everyone's first waifu.
Blair, yeah.
Blair.
Oh yeah, that was definitely that. This existed just for that.
Can you imagine being a high school Cody, sophomore, maybe freshman, discovering Blair, and like what that would have done to you?
Like you've never seen a woman, not even a 2D character.
I mean, come on.
It's kind of
Let's
like
be real here.
it's
No,
kind of
it's-
like Shadow, huh?
Nobody thinks that.
The hedgehog.
Yeah. Nobody's first love
That's
was
a good
Shadow the
point.
Hedgehog.
Who was your shadow?
Who was my shadow? Like, who was my first cartoon crush?
Yeah.
Amy?
Roxanne from the Goofy movie.
Oh.
Oh, so they have to be animals?
Oh.
No, they don't have to be. I'm just saying it just coincidentally
It was kind of like the same. It's like the
Yeah.
same kind of category.
Roxanne
of-
don't look like no dog I've ever seen. I'll tell you that
Oh
much.
my
Okay.
god.
Mine was Kim Possible.
Oh, I get that. I super
yeah.
get that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was definitely like
Mine was also She-Go more than Kim Possible.
maybe Bonnie, but like
I could get Bonnie
Who's
a little
Bonnie?
bit.
Oh, I could get
her
Bonnie.
her like nemesis, right?
yeah, her like
The
rival
cheerleader.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
See, that's the benefit of having a sister. If she would be like, I'm gonna watch Kim Possible, be like, oh yeah, I'll watch it too, I guess.
You're talking to a guy
You can-
who watched it on his
Yeah.
own.
What do you mean?
Well, you got to ease into it.
Yeah. She-Go, and then, there was the We Go, but then,
She go, I stay.
Go.
But then
I
Me
s-
Go, you know?
I stay.
I stay up late and watch Kim Possible.
Yeah.
Me Go, you know what I mean?
Oh God. Okay.
Jenny the Teenage Robot.
That was a cool one, too.
Aw.
Yeah.
I had a crush on the guy.
The redheaded guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Alright.
he was all right.
He was funny and he was
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah. This was an interesting tangent. I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
I liked it. I liked it. I really did.
Anyway, so
Yeah.
they fuck up and they realize she's like, I never said I was a witch. I was always been a cat with magical abilities. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it sucks for y'all.
Yeah, cats have 9 lives, which is why she's still alive, or 9 souls, I guess, which is a different interpretation of that. Took some liberties, but I appreciate it. And so she's still alive, and they have to restart all over.
Oh, but I did like the moment with them before when he was like, I'm gonna go with Blair. Like she's asking me to go with her.
Man,
I'm
but
gonna
even
go
that
with
was like
her.
clear, like this is a trick.
I didn't think that.
Really?
When I was watching it, I remember being like, damn. Because in the anime, he says, do you really think I would stay with a flat-chested girl like you over Blair?
And we all
And
know
then-
why that hits you a little hard.
And that's why I relate to Maka. There's way more moments in the series that I'm like, we're
Was this your first like exploration with a story that like goes into the depths of human sorrow?
This is what started it for you, I feel like.
No, this isn't what started. It started when I was in the womb. That's what started for me.
Wow.
And
yeah,
I was a
'cause-
month early.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
that
And I
explains
think-
because even your chest was underdeveloped.
Oh, just let that linger.
I didn't want to.
Anyway, I
but
can
I
see
had
why
to.
I can see why you like believed it in that moment. You were, watching the anime and you were like, that son of a bitch, Soul's just like every other
I
guy.
was Maka's age. We were the same age as I was watching. Okay, and I was going through a lot.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Seeing everyone else grow, and I stay the same forever.
But look at
Look at me now! Look at me now!
You look younger than you did when you were.
You look younger. and
Okay.
I,
Oh my God! Thank you so much.
and I will say this: we're in 2021 now, and I think that big boobs are out.
Oh, they've been out.
Yeah,
That's
they've been
not
out for a. That's very true.
Okay.
That is true.
Anyway, you guys, I like Maka a lot, and I thought that scene really resonated with me, and my soul.
Yeah. And I kind of knew that Soul was just, putting her on a little bit, just setting up a scheme. But, it still was kind of, I don't know. That was a fun chapter. I think my least favorite chapter was the chapter that followed with Black Star. And
Yeah,
I agree.
I hate Black Star.
Bro, I was shook because he was like, oh, like now's my mission. I'm gonna spy on her bathing.
Yeah, but see,
And-
that was another classic sort of.
Yeah,
like,
but usually they get caught and oh my God, you pervert, and then you just see a little glimpse. Like he saw all of it until the very end.
No, I mean, he got caught too, and he got scolded.
Yeah, but-
and I mean, I don't feel like he got particularly farther than any other.
It's just most would have stopped before he saw. He
Yes,
would have tried
he
to get
was-
a peek. You would hear, and
Yeah.
then like he's got like a bump on his forehead.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
goes,
yeah,
"Oh,
yeah,
oh."
yeah. But it was like he was just standing there, and you just saw a panel and another panel, and I was like, oh my God, Tsubaki, no.
Yeah, it almost seemed like too, like she was teaching him a lesson. Like she was trying to, help him be a better assassin.
Well, I always see like.
Okay, now I'm projecting.
I always see like Soul and Maka like or like Death the Kid and the twins.
Yeah.
Like I see it as more of like
Liz
a
and
partnership. Liz and Patty. I see it more of like a partnership versus like a like love kind of
Sure,
thing. So that's why I was like, Black Star, like, what are you doing to your partner right now?
Yeah.
She's vulnerable. You fight with this woman.
Yeah, and they had this like
Come
thing
on.
where they had to just they fought kind of like or were about to fight like Al Capone or something like that.
He's like, you say?
Yeah.
I eat soul, you say?
And Soul and Mako were fighting Jack the Ripper in the beginning. You know what I mean? They always kind of use these like big historical figures.
I am at a point now. This series doesn't lose any points on this because it's a new feeling I have. But things will start losing points for depicting Jack the Ripper as the most effective serial killer in the world.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's just like that's the legacy of Jack the Ripper is bigger than Jack the Ripper. You know?
Yeah, it's like it's a new opinion. I have now seen it enough times where the next time I see something that does it, it will lose a point for me.
So going forward
In time, yes. It's just there's like,
and I think that's fair.
I've hit my limit. You don't get to do it anymore.
You've hit your Jack the limit.
Oh, I like it.
How I feel about it.
I did like the reveal at the end of Black Star's arc or whatever when you see the bodyguard and then the witch comes flying down and she's like, don't bully him.
That
I
was
like,
cool.
oh, that was so cute because like
cool.
witches can be anyone.
Problem was it just took a whole ass chapter to get there.
Yeah,
You know?
But how do you guys feel about like the fighting scenes though? Like those types of scenes, not the dialogue or like. What's going on? Like, do you think that they held up?
The fights I thought were cool.
Yeah.
And I've always thought sort of the idea of personifying or actually having weapons be people, I thought was a really cool and still do think is a really cool idea. And I liked, I love.
Well, people are used as weapons in
absolutely
the war machine that we.
Yeah. So are words and.
Words are weapons. Yeah, how about that? How about people turn into the most dangerous weapon of all?
Yeah, I think people are like scythes and words are like shurikens,
What's a scythe?
Okay.
A scythe.
You said scythe.
I mean, I said scythe.
I think scythe is something.
I think, it's like I've heard, it's like coupon and coupon,
I think
Coupon?
scythe is like what you use to like crop straight razors.
Oh, yeah. I've heard both.
Megan?
Yeah.
Adjusting time.
Adjusting my time.
No, I still think it's cool. I thought
give
the fight
us
scenes were
an
cool.
boy with the tie there.
Oh boy.
The tie really makes it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you need to be a stand-up comedian that wears a tie on stage.
What do you guys think about airplane food?
Move the mic out of the way. It's ruining
Yeah.
the visual.
What?
There it is.
Okay, all right. So what about you, Cody? Having never read it, what'd you think of the fights?
The fights seemed fine.
Yeah.
It seemed like this is a child cartoon fight because it is like a scythe, but I'm not gonna,
Yeah, I think they get
It also
cooler
seems
as
like
they go.
the guns seem like the way to go if you were gonna.
Oh, the guns. Let's just jump there real quick
Yeah.
too. With,
Anubis.
Yeah, that was such a fun chapter. Start to finish, that was a good chapter.
The beginning when she's like she's off a little bit. He's like, "What the fuck?
Yeah.
You're supposed to be in the middle." She's like, "I'm sorry."
Yeah. Although more fan service with the boobs.
He did do that in the anime too, but yeah, it's very detailed in the manga. Like we see every piece of fat grabbed.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
Jesus
That's why it's
We
Christ.
see Jessica Alba's or no,
Jessica.
we see what's the girl who played Rachel in Friends?
Jennifer Aniston.
We see Jennifer Aniston's poking out,
Yeah, that's hilarious. That's so funny.
Yeah.
I was honestly like, I don't know if this is supposed to be cute or not. I don't like. Is the reaction supposed to be like that's so fun? What is the reaction to those types of scenes?
Like you said, it's like being like a kid and like like fan service in these
It's
types
naughty.
of it's like it's funny, ha ha ha.
It's almost like you read it and you go like, oh, I can't believe they did
Oh
that.
my god, I can't believe you just grabbed their boobs and said their cup size is the same.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this guy's a fucking
Yeah.
crazy person.
You should voice every 8-year-old kid.
Oh my god, you guys.
Yeah.
When did a kid get in here?
Yeah.
Cody, I hate you.
Yeah, that'd be weird if a kid was
Dad?
in
Your dad's
here
an
in the
8-year-old
studio.
boy.
Yeah.
In a sense, we all are.
Yeah, that I mean, I Death the Kid is fucking hilarious.
My favorite character for sure.
He's such a baller. His dad is.
You didn't like him either.
Death.
I didn't like anyone.
Oh wow.
I didn't like any of the except for the first girl,
Maka.
I liked Maka.
Yeah.
Other than that, everyone else. I mean, again, like the weapons that the Kid Death, the Kid Junior Kid Death,
Liz
man
and Patty.
had, it just seemed like, I mean, they weren't like characters.
Oh no, they get so much depth going later too. You find out their backstory, and they're awesome.
Yeah, is that in Volume 1?
No.
Okay.
I think Cody's argument is, and I can't help but agree because I've tried to fight it on him so many times before, and then he always gets me.
Strong arms.
And he always strong arms me for sure. And what it is that he's saying that they got their own chapter, and it was a perfect opportunity to not just establish them, but give them a little depth, give them a little something to latch onto, no pun intended. And
Good
you know,
one.
they kind of really they didn't necessarily do that.
Yeah, that's why I like saying, well, later
Cody.
on they get character development. It's like, that
I
would have been
know.
fine if they didn't have a chapter devoted entirely to them, and that was spent showing them like in their underwear getting groped. And I'm like, all right, well, you had a whole chapter to give me like anything. Give me a seed, and I'll be like, okay, that's fine. Like, I don't need much to be like, all right, if you're gonna say that's gonna get into something later on, you did enough.
But especially with these like the weapons and stuff, like specifically Liz and Patty, I think that their character moments come out of like reactions to Death the Kid versus their like own being and being like, I'm a character with solid this. Like, they're all like the whole chapter is just them reacting to Death being like fucking crazy about the symmetry, which like I thought was fun.
Yeah,
because it's not like, oh, I know these characters yet. This is what they have to deal with on a daily basis with this fucking guy.
Yeah, and I liked it. I liked like I said, that he committed to it, that his character committed to it. Like, even in the temple, he's like, I think that painting's a little crooked, and then it bothered him to the point where he, they turned around and he just left a note there for them. Like, I thought that was really funny, and I thought that held up, and I thought that chapter to me held up as like, he held up as a character. The comedy held up. Even their fight with the mummies I thought was cool. I really enjoyed that. I would say, like, if I had to like rate the 3 character introduction chapters, I would say that it was like Death the Kid or Kid Death 1, Maka and Soul 2, and then of course Black Star and Tsubaki 3rd. But I kind of had fun with that one.
Yeah, me too. I do like how they mention, like, he's calling his dad on the freaking mirror or whatever, and his dad's like, hey, just let you know, you guys have to work extra hard because you have to get 99 per person. And I thought that was
one.
Huh? Oh yeah.
99 souls for which
I thought that was cool.
I thought he
because
said that he didn't have to work at all if he didn't want to. I thought he said
no, he didn't, but it's
Right.
just him being like, I want my own weapons and my
Right,
own
right, right,
customization, Dad.
Right.
And I thought that was a cool like character little moment for him. Like, he doesn't have to do this. He's just doing this, and he has to work twice as hard.
Right.
Like, that just shows how much reserve this character has for doing
Yeah.
what he wants to do.
And he skateboards.
Yeah, skateboard's dope.
Yeah, that character is a lot of like, I want to be cool, and then I'm seeing a guy who's like, oh, I skateboard to attack. Like, this is so radical.
Yeah.
For middle schoolers.
Yeah.
You can see why even me in high school was like, yeah, he's got everything, dude.
Yeah, this exists for boys just hitting puberty.
Yeah.
I mean, he has the best character design also.
I think
like,
so too. I think he's really cool.
And I love Liz and Patty. They're hilarious. Like, I love
I
all
like
of
the
them.
fact that they're, he's kind of goth. They're kind of cowgirls.
Oh my god, now you like it?
Now, do you like it, Cody?
Well, that shows you how bad this must have been for me. If the fact that this guy, Kid Death, who would be me,
Right.
who he gets twin cowgirls, and I'm like, I'm not on board. I mean, how far off do you have to be?
If he only had glasses, maybe you might have liked him better.
Well,
Ooh.
yeah, if the story was perfect, I would have liked it.
Like your vision with glasses.
2020, baby.
Oh, guess what? 2020, baby.
Oh.
Say a
But
flat
now-
thing one more time.
Oh, wow. Yikes.
Look, you started.
But now we're at the final chapter where we finally have all of these character introductions. They've had all their moments. Now they're all coming together because Death told them that they have to get some souls or a soul by a certain time. And now we're let in on the fact that there are certain people. I think we were also let in on that during the Black Star chapter too, but that certain souls are worth more than just one.
Mm-hmm.
One soul can be worth 99. yada, yada, yada. So he sends them on this mission to find one of their old teachers who has now been turned into a zombie by a mysterious someone. And
also one of my other favorite characters.
Yeah, this character becomes a major character later on. And yeah, so they have to go find their teacher. And I had the privilege of watching Cody when he read the first volume. He wasn't quite sure where it ended, and so he had to read that chapter in front of me, and I had the pleasure of watching him and hearing him read it. And Cody, so why don't you walk us through that last chapter, dude? How'd you feel about it?
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was a lot of that. There was a lot of this too, like, okay. yeah.
All right.
There's a lot of ding dong.
I mean, I
because
didn't
the character says that in
they did say that.
They say
Yeah.
like class has started.
Yeah.
That was the man I used to be, but now I'm a zombie.
I thought, that fight, that there were highlights in that scene. Him like still instructing. I thought, oh, that's fun. Everything else, no, I was like, okay, I'm almost done. Finishing this was a chore for me.
Oh man.
Yikes.
I mean, it's one thing to have multiple panty shots. It's another thing to have a splash page.
They cut that out, and that never happened in the anime.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. Is this season 1?
I'm sorry. It's just so hard for me to hear you slander this series based off of the source material that's not even the source material that I watched. The anime is the source material. I know, but it's the material for me. It's the material for me. I know.
Objectively,
it just sucks.
it had a giant panty shot.
It had
multiple giant panties.
That's not me nitpicking. That's not me even criticizing it.
saying that.
That's just what happened.
That's just
I
what
was
happened, and that is
shook
the real.
too.
That's the artist's vision.
I was shook too.
Yeah. And look, I'll say that too. The fight was cool, and everybody, Soul and Maka. I think that's when they get their cool like power up moment because the teacher, which is kind of funny. It's a funny gag. Again, a lot of the comedy held up. He's fighting them, but he can't help teaching them because he's still a teacher. That's funny.
That was solid.
Yeah, and then he
if
tells
it was
them
just that, I probably would like, oh yeah, it really pulled through at the end.
Yeah, and
but
he's telling
it just
them
couldn't help itself.
it couldn't help itself that they need to be in unison. So they're in unison. They have this cool power up moment, and this is how they defeat the teacher. But then it's not. It's a teacher looking at his young students'
underwear,
camel toe, really.
and then him being like, "Okay, I know. I'll tell you everything I know."
That was like, I'm sure that was hilarious to someone.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he thinks he's free of death. He's probably free of like jail too. I guess is what he thinks.
Oh my god! And Black Star once again is just selling out Tsubaki like she's a fucking.
Yeah, no, isn't it Soul that lifts up Maka's skirt?
Yeah, and then he doesn't say anything, and she's like, "Say something." He doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
Sad.
I guess what I really want to say, is that yes, going back and rereading a lot of this stuff, a lot of it is. I don't even want to say cringy. I don't feel like that's necessarily the right word.
But I won't say cringe either, but it is teetering a line. It is cringe adjacent.
I would say cringe adjacent. There are still moments that really shine through for me. There are still a lot of really cool character moments, character design. Like we briefly mentioned the art, not just the art of the world, but the character designs like Soul and everybody's their look as a weapon, their look as a human. Black Star is very exaggerated. And, I love these sort of exaggerated features that they have. These huge kind of like shoes, these cool hairstyles. Like I find things like that
felt out of place in the art style.
Huge.
Well, I mean, they're exaggerated
Huge
features.
shoes.
Like,
Hey,
and
man.
that's a quality that I think a lot of people lean towards. Like, it's a style, it's a choice, and
Very much Kingdom Hearts.
A little bit.
Everyone
in
has
that way.
everyone has big shoes,
In Kingdom Hearts, they do.
but this has big shoes to fill.
Oh,
Well,
When watching the anime comparing to the manga.
but these are these are
I know, Cody.
the
I
anime
know.
had
Yeah.
pretty average shoes to fill.
yeah.
No, I know, but I'm just saying if you watch the anime and then read the manga, it's like it just feels like it's like a little it's just different. Like it doesn't feel as like nostalgic for me. Like I like looking at these characters, but like that's not the Tsubaki I know. That's not the Black Star I know. Like you guys, what are you guys doing?
I know. So I want to ask you guys
Now,
this.
hold on. Is that how that fight... Oh, I'm sorry to immediately interrupt you, but I'm going to. Is that how that fight is resolved in the anime?
No.
No, she said that. How,
No,
yeah.
literally no. They just I think they like I forgot how it ends, but that's not how it ends. And I was like, because I was like watching it and reading, I was like, oh yeah, that doesn't happen. I don't remember this shit. There's no way this was in there. And even with Tsubaki, like when he looks at her, it's very much the anime where it's like you see like the fog or whatever over her, and then she's like, you pervert, and it's like not the whole thing, not the whole shebang. I mean, Blair is definitely kind of the same, but it's
that's fine
because she's an adult woman or adult cat, should I say?
She's an adult cat.
Yeah, is this one of those things that they don't ever define how old these characters are, so they can just have that?
No, they do. They're all like 14.
Yeah, 13. I'm pretty sure the academy that they go to is like a high school.
I think that gets an boy necktie adjustment.
Yeah. Yeah, look, my question to you, specifically, I guess, Megan, and then I have a question for you, Cody. Yay. But my question for you, Megan, is after years, does Soul Eater hold up?
Manga or anime?
I mean,
the manga that we're reviewing.
The manga that we're reviewing. Going back and reading the manga, is it something that holds up?
Okay, like I said, it's nostalgic. As I was reading, I was hearing the characters I know and love. I was hearing them come off the page. I was reliving these moments that I'd spent with my good old time friends. You know, me being 13, being like, this is the peak of anime ever. This is one of the third ones I've ever watched. How can it get better than this? Yeah. And it just took me back. And, knowing what happens further in the story, I don't know in the manga if they keep going with this fan servicey, like, to the 10th power. They have that in the anime, but not as much. And it's kind of like, okay, cool, we'll get past that. It's not the key part of every fucking scene. So I was kind of like taken back a little bit. I'm gonna be honest. I was like, wow, this is pretty crazy. But I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't think I would have been as big of a fan if I just read it versus I watched it, because it is like super near and dear to my heart. Like watching those 3 episodes again, I'm like, I have to rewatch this again. Yeah. I've already seen it probably like 3 times and so long ago, and it's just so good.
Yeah, try to maybe for a second.
No, I can't.
Like, that's what I was gonna kind of ask Cody. Like, because as someone who's never seen the anime, doesn't have that nostalgia to harken back to. This is something that you're completely out on. Did you like anything about this?
This seems like it's weird to criticize because this is clearly for children. So it's like, what am I going to say that this kid's show was like? But then it's like, well, I mean, if you're going to have that kind of fan service, I mean, I don't know if you get a. Well, look, it's for kids, because if it was, you shouldn't. Maybe.
But I want to know what you liked about it.
The art style was fun. There were writing moments that stuck out, like the teacher, and that was the thing. Is like, as soon as I got into it, it would do something that made me be like, all right. As soon as I was like, oh, that's fun. He's like a carryover from his past life as he was a teacher. That's a fun twist. How are they going to resolve it? Oh, he stares at his students' underwear. Okay, well, I mean, okay, all right. Well, I'm out. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
And it just pains me. Like, it just really pains me that this is like the first thing you ingested as Soul Eater, because like I showed you the OP.
Yeah, but I
very
think,
well done.
Yeah,
but it is like, well, I don't like this this Black Star fellow, and then you show me the highlight clips of him, which is him yelling, and I was like, yep, that's what I thought that was gonna end up being.
And I think what's hard to hear, Megan, is as much as you want the anime to be Soul Eater, this is Soul Eater. This
is eating my fucking soul out.
Yeah, I mean,
oh my
god, Megan.
I'm sorry. It's not
Megan.
I'm sorry. I did it again. I don't mean to be dirty.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
It was the whole out part. I should have said eating my soul.
Strong opinions.
I feel like
not in a good way. It's killing me.
Oh, all right, just stop.
Yeah, stop.
Just stop.
It's killing me.
Stop.
So you
it really did hurt me. Like it really did. Like just.
Man.
I'm sorry.
Gotta shake that one off. Wow. It's like I just walked in on my sister and her boyfriend or something. It's like
I'm sorry. It was like when you said asshole.
It's the same feeling. Like, oh god, I don't want to.
It's just weird to.
When you said hole.
I mean, that's the only thing I can
when
think
you
of.
said hole. When you said hole that one time, and then we were like, don't say the hole. Like that was my moment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we got Megan's new catchphrase.
Yeah. Eat your soul out. Yeah.
Well, that's gonna be our outro.
Yeah.
I mean, it always is.
Eat my soul out. Yeah. yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Eat your heart out.
So you are not satisfied with the way that its source material actually is.
I don't think I am. I love the art. It's so cute. I wish it could have just been a little bit more wholesome. I can't wish any because this is it. This is what this.
Yeah, it brings up an interesting
hard
point,
facts.
you know, because I mean, I went in kind of hard, you know, a while back talking about animes that change the source material and how I don't really appreciate that, and how they have storyboards in manga form, and how it's kind of, I feel, disrespectful to alter the artist's vision. But then here we have something that you're saying you connect with more because of the changes that they've made. They've lessened the fan service. They've maybe, you know, gone easy on a few things.
I don't know why she just started laughing. I just like,
she's just replaying it over and over.
Okay, because I was just like, what do you have to say, Megan? She's like,
I'm just honestly, I do like the liberties and the changes that they made in the anime, because if it was anything like the manga, super like this, I don't know if I would have, even at 13, 12 years old, would have been like, this is my favorite thing. Like,
so, I mean, I'll say this for me. I think that revisiting this in its intended, I think, according to the artist at least, in its intended form, I think that there were parts that I really did enjoy. Like Cody said, there were moments for me that I think held up comedy-wise. The art was really cool. The world was really cool. The characters were really cool. But it did dip more into the fan service than I remembered, and there's an explanation for that, and it is because I did too watch the anime and didn't read the manga. So does Soul Eater hold up for me? I would have to say the anime probably does. and parts of the manga do. I do feel what Megan feels, where I don't want to say that that there were parts of the manga that were a little much, because I know how much this meant to me, means to you, it means to a lot of people, and how it changes and evolves and grows and what the story continues to do. But like you say, we're not here to talk about all that.
Yeah, I would love to hear someone's perspective as someone who had read the manga before the anime was adapted or whatever. Like, I want to hear their thoughts, because they were like the true OGs reading this shit, and then the anime got an adaptation, and it's like complete. Who's gonna be?
I do.
They
like
didn't
that,
add that Tsubaki bit.
I do like that.
I mean,
the idea.
yes,
Yeah.
probably.
Oh no!
I do like the idea of someone going like, "Are you fucking kidding me, dude?"
Well, I mean, look. I mean, if they are like, well, that was the artist's vision. I mean, that's certainly a something that has been said on this very podcast. That is something that's important to uphold.
Something that
something
that you didn't like necessarily, and then you kind of got sold on later and bought like 3 volumes of it. Or is it?
3 volumes of what?
Oh, 2. Sorry.
Of Nagatoro.
Oh, interesting, huh?
Nagatoro is beautiful. Has a lot of heart.
I didn't get that far.
Well, maybe you should. And maybe we should keep reading Soul Eater. And maybe we should see what other changes there are. Maybe we should do a volume done Soul Eater.
It's hurting me.
I mean, that's going to be a you vote for sure. And then
vote for sure.
That will be
That'll be the people's vote. But in all seriousness, I mean, I do think
here's the thing. Is if they like this manga, they're not going to want to hear me complain.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they will.
Do.
Yeah, a lot of people
Cody gang.
went after you for the Hunter x Hunter stuff.
A couple people. And for the record, the highlight of one of theirs is that I'm their favorite.
Yeah.
I should be able to cut
I
that
think
part
if
out.
you're going to say anything about Cody, anything at all, you could say anything you want. Just say you're my favorite at the end of it, and it sweetens the deal.
I'm desperate for any affection.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting experiment. Let's just say some really, like, you don't have to be too mean, but let's just see how far we can go.
Yeah.
And
well, it wasn't a personal attack on me. It was saying that, like, I like Hunter x Hunter and you don't, and
but I'm saying we could make it that.
Well, here's the problem: is the Cody gang they're very articulate with their opinions, and they're very respectful, and unlike you motherfuckers.
Oh well, the Jolly Joshers are pretty passionate.
The Megan monster fuckers.
You had to add the last part.
It's fitting.
It is. That's the. I don't know if it's sad or not, but that is the thing.
It's not sad. Not once been sad.
She's the most romantically fulfilled person here.
Oh.
Yeah, but hey, you know what, buddy? We got each other.
Yeah.
That's it.
Anyway, I think Soul Eater is it deserves a place in history. Okay, it deserves, and if it's something that meant the world to you and has a very special place in your heart and is nostalgic, then I think, it deserves all the love it gets. And just because, you look back and you realize that maybe some of your favorite series had a little more fan service than you remember, shouldn't be enough to like take away your love for it. I think me and Megan still love the anime and will always love the anime. And because of that, like there would be no anime without this manga. We love the manga too. There are just parts that I think we could have done with a little less. Having said that, I do think that that's gonna do it for our Soul Eater Volume 1 review. Let us know what you think. Let us know how you feel about the fan service in the manga versus the anime. Let us know if it's a series that was nostalgic for you as a kid as well. And if you plan on reading it or have already read it, just let us know your thoughts. You could do that by, hopping in the comments below or even in our Discord.
Please, if you are an anime-only watcher of Soul Eater and you happen to peruse the first volume of the series, let me know what you think, because my heart hurts a little bit.
Yeah, and I do want to say real quick, too,
has
been eaten out. Yeah. By a lot of monsters. Yeah.
I couldn't finish it, but I wanted the joke to happen.
I will say too that I'm going to start mentioning this in more episodes, but if you click our Discord link down below and for whatever reason it's not working, I'll try to have it in our about section of our YouTube channel, just because links keep expiring. People have reached out and commented that before.
Roughly every other week that link expires.
Yeah, and so it's really frustrating, and if someone can help me with that too, that'd be great. But I feel like I've tried different things and it keeps on expiring. So anyway, it'll be in the about section if it's not working down below. But hopefully it's working down below.
Josh, can you?
It's the weakest link.
There we go.
That's what he wanted to interrupt you for.
Thank you.
Super worth it.
Sorry, that was on
God
him.
forbid we entertain.
God forbid we entertain the people.
She's going at you, dude.
She's agreeing.
No, I'm agreing. It's 2 against 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
2v1.
No, we hate you.
What would your guys' weapon be, though? Would you want to be a wielder, or would you want to be a weapon?
I like the idea of someone, using me.
It's happened before.
I could see that.
It's happened before. Same with Josh.
Yeah. I could see. I've been,
I mean, so that's the only life. So we'd have to start there. We've only ever been used, so there is that.
But I'd rather be a Meister, I think.
Well, So is it like if you were a Meister, you get to choose what weapon you are, but if you are the weapon, you get to choose what weapon you'd be?
No, Meister, no.
Oh,
you just get to have a weapon, but if you're a weapon, then you could choose which weapon
I've always been
be.
a sucker for shotguns.
Oh, you'd be a shotgun.
Yeah.
I could see that for you. Megan, what about you?
I don't know. If I was a weapon...
You'd be 2 hatchets.
Hatchets! I'd split into 2?
And it can combine into like a big one.
See, I would see Megan more as like nunchucks for some reason.
No.
What the fuck?
I don't know why, because you're just a lot of movement.
But that's the thing, is it's definitely she would have 2.
Yeah.
Because you have dexterity. But you gotta imagine she'd be doing the spinning thing with the hatchets, and then she could like combine them into one, and then like the 2 blades would arc with electricity.
Yeah.
And then it would be called her electro hatchet. And then that's what she would use for heavy attacks.
See, I think maybe I would have like a bow and arrow.
Okay.
Yeah. Either that or some sort of long, very long sword.
You know what? It's your fantasy.
Yeah.
Thanks. Anyway, that's going to do it for our Soul Eater Volume 1 review. Like we said, let us know what you think. But now, we move on. To the Wonder Circle, where we read some of your comments that you've left on previous videos. Volume 1 Chun helps us. She digs through them all. She picks out a few, and we respond. If you want your comment to be read on a future episode, leave a comment on this video or any of our previous videos. And speaking of comments, Volume 1 Chun, I want you to dig deep on this one, okay? I want you to go way back and find some good ones, okay? So if you can, will you please pull up the first comment, please?
This one comes from 17 Clop. I just really like the beeps and boops before the comments. Oh, does that an encore I hear? Thank you.
You shouldn't encourage the boops.
Yeah, not really much to respond to on that one.
You guys are fucking clapping.
Oh.
It was a performance.
I mean, I do love the beeps. And
Not the boops?
I'm more of a boop man myself.
Oh.
I used to be more of a boop man, but now I think I'm a beep man.
As you've matured.
As I've matured, for sure. Volume 1 Chen, you're the best, and I love everything that you do. You're
Sounds like a lie.
You're an important part of this
definitely
team.
full of shit.
Yeah.
Okay, and don't let them convince you otherwise. Okay,
She's gonna fucking shock you again. Watch.
I hope so. That was
I hope so.
I can't handle another shock. So will you please just pull up another comment, please, and thank you.
This one comes from Ben Franklin 89. I feel like you guys will probably do it eventually, so no rush, but I'd love to see a Volume 1 on Dragon Ball, the first part when Goku's a kid. Other series I've heard you guys mention, but don't think you've done, Wotakai, Love is Hard for an Otaku, and Uzaki-chan.
Megan enjoys 2 of those.
I like both of. Yeah, I like Ozaki and I like Love is War. Love is Hard for an Otaku.
Like Love is War too.
Love is Hard for an Otaku and both Uzaki. They're like older character animes, so they're in like college and they're like adults, which
Uzaki
I like.
love, yeah.
Uzaki's really wholesome. I didn't think it was because you got like bazongas.
Yeah, big
old bazongas.
Yeah.
But it's nice. They're good. I would love to do those.
I think I would definitely love to do Uzaki-chan. I think that'd be really fun. As far as Love is Hard for an Otaku, I feel like I can't remember if we talked about it on the podcast.
I brought it up a couple times.
But I read it because you sent it over to us, and I read the first couple chapters, and I could have sworn it was because we were going to talk about it back when we were not dedicating one whole episode to one whole volume
In the before times.
In the before times, but either way, I mean, I really did like that series as well.
Before the eclipse.
I don't need to read a story about a nerd who finds love.
No, it's not. It's a plethora of nerds. That's what you see. There's characters that get introduced, and they're like.
I'm saying I don't want to because I would be like, yeah, what is this, fiction?
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
it's really cute. It's really nice, and the main character has glasses, and he's a hard-working man.
You like that?
And then he just is alone all the time.
No.
Okay, that's why I don't need to read.
No, he kind of is.
Well, let us know if either of those series sound like something you'd want to see.
And
maybe
Dragon Ball, we didn't even.
And Dragon Ball.
Oh yeah, that's another.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Dragon Ball,
the main one.
I'm sure it's really obvious, but I just found out what Dragon Ball is based on. And
what do you mean?
Dragon Balls?
Are you talking about?
You knew? No, it's like based on one of the most famous. No, the most famous Chinese
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
with the Nimbus and it's like the Monkey King.
Yeah. I just found that out.
I have no idea what that is.
Journey West.
Yeah.
That's their Gilgamesh. That's their ultimate folk hero.
I love Dragon Ball. It's another interesting series just to see how it started versus how it ended up.
You know what? Never watched it. So if we do a thing on that, I'd be completely blind.
Same.
I think of all of the series, I think Dragon Ball would be the most fun to do because it is a completely different story.
And we can buy Dragon Balls.
I have one. How
about this for a thing? We get the Infinity Gauntlet, but we fill it with Dragon Balls.
Okay.
And then, someone goes, trendy or whatever.
And then we go viral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to do a Dragon Ball review too. That'd be super fun. So let us know if you want to see that. But Volume 1 Chan, one more comment before we get out of here, please.
This one comes from just some guy with no musta. ... Promise Neverland was such a disgrace. We shouldn't even mention it. Just forget it was created.
Yeah.
Wow.
We were
Volume
just
1
talking
Chan
about
felt that.
Yeah, we were just talking about how sometimes maybe, an anime can change a little thing here or there, and it can help the story. And then you set me into a rage right now.
Oh,
because you
God.
reminded me of the Promised Neverland, which is at least things like Full Metal got Brotherhood later, but I don't think there's any hope for the Promised Neverland. I think it's over.
That's what's sad to me because I had no idea what the manga had in store or what it did. So I just was anime only watcher going in with, a sparkle in my eye and a little kick in my step. I was like, okay, this is fine. I know nothing different. Ignorance is bliss, as they say, and I say. I didn't have a problem with it, but maybe if I did.
I spent years reading that manga, connecting with it. You know, I remember I was going through a breakup at the time, and it really comforted me by the lamp, by my little reading lamp. I would sit there.
The Promised Neverland is, of course, dating someone else.
The Promised Neverland is happiness.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which is the opposite of how the anime made me feel season 2 specifically. And I mean, I spent years really just like every chapter, every time a new volume would come out, I get so excited. And after the brilliance that was the first season, I couldn't wait for season 2. And then the day came, where they changed everything. And it angers me because even with Brotherhood or with Full Metal, I should say, like, I didn't read the manga. I went back after and read it, but this was a completely different situation for me where I was heavily invested in the source material. And for them to just like, they spit on it, and not in the good way.
Not in the good way.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we can wrap this episode.
And that's going to do it for another episode of Volume 1. Thank you, as always, for watching and listening. And before we go, we have to thank our wonderful Patreon members. You guys are amazing.
Ciao.
You guys are the best.
Ciao.
We love each and
Ciao.
every single one of you. And if you would like to become a Patreon member, all you got to do, it's simple. Is go to patreon.com/volume1pod. Links, as always, for everything and everywhere you can find us are in the description down below. And stay tuned for our Fire Force episode where we're going to talk about sort of the differences between the two series and how the mangaka, how they've changed, grown, evolved, and all that.
And we won't force you, but it's going to be fire.
I like it. I like it a lot. Until next time, all that's left now to do is get out of here on our outro. It's always the same and never changes, which today I think we got it.
Eat
my soul out. Yeah. Until next time, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And eat my soul out.
Okay, remember when that was... I was literally, right as I said out, immediately I was like, bring it back, and then you guys reacted exactly how I thought you